Hello, Jay here with the Periodic Review, and welcome to Entertainment News. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Joe Rogan, and I figure since he is a podcast host, I assumed it would be okay to be under the umbrella of Entertainment News. The brief disappearance raised eyebrows since it came as Rogan has taken flack for hosting guests with sometimes controversial opinions on vaccines and political issues, but a Spotify spokesperson said it was simply a technical malfunction. Now, I've had Spotify for well over a year now, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and it's had a number of issues over the years. It's had these glitches in the past where things were for some reason not accessible. For some reason, your music gets mixed up. For some reason, it doesn't save your place on podcasts and it actually reverts. So I don't think it's any kind of conspiracy that this happened. I just think, honestly, I'm sure it was just a technical glitch. As we read a little bit farther down, it was only down for about 20 minutes. Neil Young recently pulled his music off Spotify in protest of Rogan. Spotify paid Rogan at least $200 million to exclusively host his podcast, according to the New York Times. Just this past month or the end of January, there was a lot of controversy around of Joe Rogan using certain words on his podcast when he is quoting people. And I actually have seen a lot of the podcasts where he uses the word that you should not say. But again, he was quoting somebody, and what's sad is that they took it out of context. It says it seemed like the drama surrounding Joe Rogan and Spotify was beginning to slow down, with a controversial podcast host issuing an apology through Instagram, followed by the streaming platform instituting new content advisory measures around episodes that touched on the coof. But over the weekend, a video of Rogan using the N-word in many episodes of his podcast circulated across social media, promoting new responses from both podcaster and his publisher. The clip, which featured roughly 24 instances of Rogan using the N-word, prompted him to post a 5-minute apology video on Instagram. It's all mushed together and it looks effing horrible, even to me, he said. Rogan claimed that he hasn't used the word in several years and that he'd only used it when discussing its various meanings or uses in pieces of media like Pulp Fiction. I never used it to be racist because I'm not a racist. I do agree that these are kind of some words that we just need to retire and just stop using as a whole in humanity. And this is where I question some of these things because it's really important to understand that there are some groups and circles who say that there are certain words that you cannot say because of the color of your skin. And I think that is inherently racist. Among those who publicly criticized Rogan's language is Grammy-winning musician Indy Ari, who had previously announced that, like Neil Young and Joni Mitchell, she would be removing her music from Spotify. I have decided to pull my music and podcast from Spotify. Neil Young opened a door that I must walk through, she wrote on Instagram. I believe in freedom of speech. However, I find Joe Rogan problematic for reasons other than his coof interviews. The broad uproar over the video compilation led to further action from Spotify. Without advance notice, 70 episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience were quietly removed from Spotify. Spotify CEO Daniel Ek later clarified that it was Rogan and his team who asked to have certain episodes taken off the streaming platform. Of course, nobody wants to mention the 50 plus episodes that he had to not put up on Spotify because of controversial things and topics that he talked about. I do not believe that silencing Joe is the answer. We should have clear lines around content and take action when they are crossed, but canceling voices is a slippery slope, Eck wrote. Neil Young has since responded, writing on Neil Young Archives, to the musicians and creators in this world. I say this, you must be able to find a better place than Spotify to be the home of your art. To the workers at Spotify, I say Daniel Ek is your problem, not Joe Rogan. And there is something to say about that. Like, CEOs and stuff that are, a part of these big conglomerate, big tech companies, they're all about the numbers. They have to keep their shareholders happy. And so they have to show profits year over year. I've listened to Joe Rogan probably over 1,000 episodes. I haven't, listened to the whole catalog. It's a gross misconception that big tech and social media are painting Joe Rogan as a bad guy. And what's sad is that Joe Rogan was not spreading misinformation about the coof. He was just having people come on. They would listen to their arguments. They would have back and forth and discussion. He would ask a lot of questions and he would come up with his own decisions about what he thought about the information that he got. And just because the people that are controversial or are correct in the media light or social media circles. It's about having an understanding and listening to everybody and coming up with your own decisions, as well as doing your own research. But anyways, you all can obviously come up with your own conclusions. And if you feel like I'm wrong, I'm sure going to hear it in the comment section, if not on the dislike button. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. And from our family to yours, good night.